Hey, Tony here from the Online Seller Circle, and within this video we're going to cover the 6-step systemization that you need to take within your business in order to successfully start the systemation process, so that you can fully compartmentalize each area of the business, what needs to be done for it, who you can use, whether it's third-party external provider or indeed an individual actually working within your business as well. And it's really important because in order for you to scale, you're going to need to take on some additional help, whether that be through a third-party person or a service or even a software, or perhaps an individual working within your business. You can't do everything yourself, and if you did do and you continue to do that, you certainly wouldn't be able to scale, you wouldn't get your time back, and you wouldn't be able to work on the business effectively. It's the 6-step systemization for an online arbitrage business in order for you to fully automate it. So the first one is the shipping of products. So if you are currently shipping products yourself, it is highly advisable to ensure that you are outsourcing that first. That needs to be the first thing, because it's going to be taking up a lot of time for you to prep in line with Amazon's guidelines, whether you're bundling, you're polybagging, you're bubble wrapping, etc. the products. It's going to take up a lot of time. But also, if you're actually getting that stock sent to you, whether it's through retail or online arbitrage, and then you're just simply sending that stock into Amazon for them to actually do the FNSKUs and the other prepping requirements, it still means that you're spending time dealing with the prepping and shipping, and you really need to outsource that. So highly recommend a prep center. We've obviously got one that we recommend. We've actually got a second one we're now potentially working with, and both of them do via FBM, FBA. They also actually provide kind of access from a fulfillment perspective with other areas and strategies within the e-commerce space, such as kind of drop shipping, wholesale, private label, for example. So thoroughly recommend using Prep Center so that you can completely offset that and make sure that they're then doing the work for you, but obviously that they are working in line with your business overview, your business objective, your principles, that you understand how they work and operate as a prep center, to ensure that then you can build their system into your processes as well, so your team members, as you grow your team, are aware how they operate, and also the communication, making sure that if there's any changes their side, that's then filtered into the communication channels within your company as well. So it's not just you having to feed back information all the time, that needs to be built in. The second step is sourcing products, and this is in order in terms of, so if you haven't yet outsourced the prep to a prep center, that is the first thing you need to do. Once you've done that, that will then enable you to source more products if that's what you're doing at the moment, but also the side step to that, or the next best step from a sourcing perspective, is taking on a deal service, or taking on as many deal services as possible in order to have stock and products being obviously given to you on a daily basis. And there's various services out there that provide 5-day-a-week, there's 7-day-a-week service that we run at the moment, but also sourcing VAs. So looking at all options available to you from a cost perspective, but bearing in mind that if you don't have the stock coming in, so if you don't have the source deals coming in and you're having to manually source yourself on a daily basis, that is definitely going to limit your ability to scale. So ensuring that you've got as many deals coming into you as possible, so that then you can actually review those source deals in line with your criteria. What is it specifically, your minimum profit? What's your minimum ROI? What's your minimum purchase order in terms of quantity and price, so sale price of that item? Making sure that you're reviewing those deals and looking to actually systemize that, so understanding what are the steps required in order to achieve that, so that then you can then purchase the products. And these are really key, these are really important, because you need to source products on a daily basis, new ones. Replenishments and out of stock products is something slightly different, and that's kind of covered within the purchasing and the reviewing system. but it's making sure that it's vital that you have these deals coming in on a daily basis, because with no deals, you can't feed the prep centre, you can't purchase them, and you're not going to make any sales. So it's really important, as many services and also as many sourcing VAs with it working for you, manually sourcing within specific categories that you set them, so that they can then be reviewed. You can outsource that reviewing so that you're then not doing it. Document that process so that the person coming in understands exactly what needs to be reviewed, what access they need to have. So is it a deal service, is it the VA sheets, but also looking at the criteria. So what particularly do you want them to do that's slightly different to the sourcing VAs if you're using them, or obviously the deal services if you're using those as well. How do you want them to review it? How are they going to communicate that to you? They're going to need to have access to their own reviewing sheet, for example, where they then take all of the source deals and they compile it into a master sheet. But also, what, in terms of the KPIs, is it that you want them to achieve and work towards? So how do they communicate, but also when are they going to have those reviews done? So looking at what time your sourcing team are currently, and your deal service team are currently sending the sourced products into you at the moment, and then what's the deadline for that individual reviewing those deals to then have that ready, so that actually then whoever's doing the purchasing, if it's you or you've got someone in play at the moment, they can then take on the next step. They can get those products ordered for you, and then obviously the next step comes on board after that. So this is in order really of what you should be doing. So what we don't like to see is that you skip 1 and 2 and then you go to 3 or 4. It's really important to make sure that you're doing this in order. So you're making sure that you're outsourcing the shipping. You're then looking at sourcing. How can you improve on the amount and the quota of deals you're getting on a daily basis? Once you've got so many deals coming in, and it's all down to you purchasing and reviewing, the next step is to review and purchase, to get that outsourced and understanding exactly what's required in order to achieve that. So basically you doing it to the point where you've completely thought every single step and process, and you can then go, right, here's the system to the next person that's coming in that you've recruited to do that role. We also want to then, once you've done 1 all the way through to 4, that you're then looking at your account management. And this is like the back end. So once the deals have been purchased, what then happens? Well, they've got to be listed to inventory if they've not been done already. And when they hit the prep centre, you need to obviously check and ensure that they've been received, they're in good condition. If there's any problems, that there's some liaison there between the team and the prep centre. But then also ensuring that your EU pricing, if you're selling across the EU marketplaces, is updated, your repricer is set correctly, but also on the back end, not just from a purchasing perspective, but also looking at and managing your account health. So managing customer messages that come in that need to be responded to within that certain deadline, that time frame that Amazon gives, making sure that if you have any policy violations on your account across the marketplaces, that they're being dealt with, making sure that your accounts are in good health, making sure that any items or listings that are in your Seller Central account where you're not going to be replenishing the goods going forward, that they're closed and deleted off. So there's lots of things to consider on the back end that as you go through these steps, you'll start to do more of. And that will then give you enough time to work through all of those processes, understand exactly what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. Is it daily? Is it weekly, bi-weekly? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly, etc.? And then start to build out that framework, that process, so that then you can take on another senior member of staff to deal with the account management and the health of your account as well, and simply systemize that in a box and then pass that on to them so that you can then communicate with them on a daily basis so that they're doing that process for you. And really then after that, it's the business management. This is really kind of where you give full guidance on in terms of the direction that the company's going in, performance reviews of your team members, making sure that everything is aligned, making sure if there's a new policy a new objective, a new system that's in place, ensuring that whoever that has an impact on, whether it be the sourcing team, the reviewing team, etc., that then that is communicated and everyone receives the same communication at the same time, and also they're given ample opportunity to train up on that new policy or that new procedure, so that then when it's implemented fully, everyone can kind of sing off the same hymn sheet and they understand what's happening, what needs to be done, and there's obviously then less of an impact, or perhaps it mitigates against any errors that may occur and cause operational issues for you and the company and the members working for you. Not only that, we're also looking at inventory health and also replenishment as well. So whilst the sourcing team will be busy on a daily basis looking at that next winner, those next set of deals for you, what you also need to ensure is that you've got a process in place and you systemize the replenishment and the out of stock, and also the pricing system. So from a replenishment and out of stock point of view, you may find that you've been sourced deals that have come in through either your team or deal services. Your purchasing team have gone to purchase them, but there's a problem and they're out of stock. So what is the process for that? Because we want to make sure we're monitoring to see when that stock comes back into play with the retailer or the wholesaler, wherever they've sourced it from. Looking at the replenishment system. So what is it at the moment that you're doing? How are you analysing what you need to replenish in order to get the stock in before you go out of stock? Because obviously if you go out of stock, you potentially have an issue there where you'll definitely lose the buy box altogether, but there may be a delay, a period of time before you come back in which case you might have lost out on a couple of days, a week, probably even longer sales period, and obviously that's going to have a negative effect on your sales and your profit and bottom line. But also looking at pricing. So after that 90-day period, really where you've bought the stock and your purchasing team have, or your account management team have set the pricing in your repricer, what do you do after that initial 3-month period where it's not sold? And then maybe 180 days when that stock is not sold, because obviously the longer that you've got your stock in inventory for, it's gathering monthly storage fees, and also if they're gathering dust, you need to do something at each, or your team needs to take action and know what the steps are required in order to get that stock moving, to get a sale, or perhaps to take it out and sell it elsewhere across other platforms as well. And these all really feed into the ops team, and that would be you initially if you haven't got an operations manager, especially if you've not taken action yet and you've not fully completed all of these 6 steps to systemization. And over time then you'd actually appear here and the operations team would feed directly into you. So in order, these are the 6 steps to systemization that you'll need to take 1 through to 6 without jumping all over the place. So the first one is a prep center. Looking at an external company to do the shipping for you. The second one is sourcing products daily. How are you going to achieve a greater rate of deals coming into you on a daily basis, 7 days a week ideally? Looking at how you review those deals that are coming into you. So it's effective, it's accurate, but it's also efficient as well. Purchasing the products once you've shortlisted and reviewed those deals. On a daily basis, you need to go ahead and purchase. The more stock you're ordering on consistently, the more stock you've got going into the prep center, going into the fulfillment center, and those sales are also going to come in as well, so you can get the money back out and you can then reinvest it again. Looking at your account management, making sure that you've got a clean bill of health, that any performance issues, whether it be fulfillment, customer service, or indeed account health, are being monitored and they're being actioned accordingly. And then also business management of the team and the account as a whole, and ensuring that everyone is working in unison, everyone understands the direction they need to go in, but they also understand the rules and responsibilities of their role within the company as well.